the streams Secrets of Hammerfast. We're playing D&D 5th edition. I am Ken Breeze, Burling's Beard. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are going to be sort of taking it a little slower, but maybe not. We'll see. Last week was pretty nuts. If you haven't, you should definitely catch up if you have a chance. If you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, thank you so much for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. We have our amazing players with us once again. We are sans one of our players, but he will be back. Don't worry about that. Until then, though, we're in the great, amazing hands of Kelsey playing Callie. Yay! Welcome back. What can you tell us about your character, Kelsey?
Yeah, so Callie is a halfling rogue, and she wears tattered leather because she grew up in the streets. She likes that look, but recently she got a magic mantle of spell resistance, so she's wearing that underneath her street clothes.
Oh, yes.
Mixing that like high street, low street. And she throws playing cards and or daggers, depending on what suits the situation. And she has a familiar who is a teacup thief. She's just magical enough to get a familiar. So
hashtag Rimpy.
Rimpy. Always looking for a crown. He'll never get one.
Maybe one of these days. There wasn't one in the treasure hoard, which, I'm just a terrible DM. So, I mean,
hey, money can buy.
Maybe.
So
true enough. And you guys made a shit ton of money last time, but we'll talk about that soon enough. We also have Anthony with us once again. Hi, Anthony, playing Alaron. What can you tell us about Alaron, bud?
Alaron, he's a scholar warrior from a elf monastery. He's half elf himself with bronze skin, pointy ears. But he has covering most of his face is this reflective chrome helmet that when you look into it, all you can see is a reflection, and that's covered with runes. On top of that, he's wearing a magnificent or magical cape. Onto that, he's wearing chainmail. He has a ornate bronze shield. I mean, he's decked out. He looks like an adventurer.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. And what kind of weapon does Alaron wield?
He is a nimble and fast fighter, so he carries a rapier.
Yes, perfect. Love it. And joining us once again, welcome back, my friend, Brian, playing Preturo. Welcome back, my friend. What can you tell us about Preturo?
All right, it's great to be back. Preturo is a bald, like a elf, like noble wizard. He is from a house Tawawen, a very noble house. Quite a long time ago, it was in style to be in that house. He just woke up from like a 600-year crystal nap. I just got saved by these lovely people here. This direction, or you guys are this direction. He is currently readjusting to life again. He has a lot of questions. And he's looking for someone very special.
That's right. And so let's go into it, because your characters have just recently won a great victory. We find ourselves at the top of a shining tower. And what tower is that? It is a tower from the elven castle that we're in, Id Othranel. And this castle, if we'll remember, is underneath the water of Glimmer Lake. The Glimmer Lake you guys have been under now for, a little while. Some time. You've been having your underwater adventures. And so it's been a while since you've been to the above ground world. And not only that, you're not sure how you're going to get back to the above ground world, except you found who you're looking for down here. You found Glitterdark finally, the Lord Sage of Hammerfast, who you'd been seeking. You found him, but like you, he's trapped under the waters, and here as well. And so you made a pact sort of with him that if you're able to find him an energy source that would allow him to repair the eldritch machinery that allows the castle to rise, then you could go up together. After you defeated the Necromancer and their draconic servant last time, you found such a power source. It was a glowing statue of a tortoise, sort of a dragon tortoise. You guys were really hurt in the battle, and you decided to take a rest. You were left by Elio during that rest, as he was wearing cursed armor. That he need to seek out Ziganut or perhaps Lord Sage Glitterdark himself to have the armor perhaps removed, or at least to learn more about it. Callie had roped the glowing statue. It was sort of see-through, actually, if you remember. Though it's sort of now become a little bit more opaque as she's been drawing it down. But you could see within it was a glowing power, sort of a steam-like power. And it was Barooned itself. And you've been able to draw it now to the ground, Callie. Your group has taken a rest, and you are able to sort of look at this thing a little bit more clearly. This is very much sort of what it looks like. Sort of like that. And so it has this energy inside of it. But it seems as if it's sort of dimmed. Preturo, you have been resting with these people, the people who freed you. Callie seems very interested in this statue. Alaron has been inspecting the shield as well. He's been resting. What have you been doing, Preturo?
Well, I've been like recovering some of my arcane spells. I've taken.
That's right. Yeah. How does that look?
Well, I take the huge tome that's like tied to my side, open it up. There's like glowing words inside. I hold my hands above the pages, and magical energy seeps from the words back into my hands.
Oh, nice.
Feel slightly recharged.
Nice. Very nice. Cool. And as you guys are resting, is there anything you want to ask the group or mention to them?
Well, let's see. I did kind of like. I'm still suffering from culture shock, so I'll ask. So tell me, if the Matcher, I nod to the ashes of the harpy, is now in control, what happened to the Count?
The Count?
I look at.
Yes, the Count of the Summer Court.
Okay, Alaron. Who? The Count of the Summer Court. I mean, I don't think he's been around for a while. You've been imprisoned a long time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this place hasn't been under the rule of the Summer Court for hundreds of years.
Don't tell me. The Winter Court finally struck?
It Optimal sank.
Oh. Wait. We're underwater?
Yeah, we are.
We're down here with that thing.
What thing?
Klagisho Krota.
Doesn't ring a bell.
The creature of Glimmer Lake.
What?
I mean, you could have said that, and yeah. What do you know about this creature?
I should know. We should want to get out of here as soon as possible.
Well,
it hasn't breached the walls yet, and we're trying to get this castle back above water.
Then I would very much like to help you with that.
Well, the first step is getting this big glowy turtle back to our friend Glitterdark.
Oh yes, I identified that thing earlier. It does seem to have some of the despicable Clougy's energy within.
Some?
Yes, we're hoping to use the energy to lift the castle again.
I see.
As Praetorno sort of says the name, apparently, of this creature, the energy inside the statue seems to roil or almost sort of expand, become more powerful. You should all make an Arcana check, an intelligence check, please.
I'm good at this.
Ooh. 20.
Ooh.
What'd you get, Callie?
I got a 20 total.
Whoa!
Nice.
And for you, Alaron?
I got a 7.
7. And Praeturo?
19.
Nice, well done. Alaron, the best I can tell you is that it looks as if this statue very quickly, the light within it sort of dims and continues to be this roiling sort of steam sort of energy inside of it. Praeturo and Callie, you both realize that the runes that are covering the sort of the different parts of this creature around, or rather the statue, covering its shell, as well as parts of its legs and arms. These runes seem to glisten a bit, almost as if they're dampening the energy that's within this statue. Furthermore, Callie, you have heard about things like this as a seasoned visitor of places where there are very expensive things and wanting to be in said type of places. These types of very mythical creations have long been sort of in your mind. This item is obviously some sort of ancient idol that is depicting the creature that the trout folk worship. You have heard Praeturo name them Claugli Schildkröte, and that is a very long name, obviously a very ancient name. Your group has sort of found that this creature might, in fact, be a dragon turtle that is somehow inside the waters of the Glimmer Lake. You don't know much about this creature, but you do know that those types of creatures have a breath, just like all dragons do. And their breath is very hot steam. That seems to be what's inside of this representation, this statue of the creature. However, that energy seems to be being dampened by these runes that are around it. And you believe that if you were trying to, say, power this castle to rise itself above the waters, that you would want this energy to be unleashed as much as possible. You think that you have a few different ways you could probably disrupt the runes if that was something you're trying to do, or otherwise empower this item. You also have the sneaking sense that is much more powerful than you even realize. Praeturo, you believe that this item is some sort of artifact. Like, it is that level of power. You're not sure what it does or what it's for, but it is obvious that it is a representation of Claugli Schildkröte.
Well,
So
it's complicated, this thing. It's
I agree.
pretty fancy.
yeah, I mean, it's a
Like
magical
my
statue.
mantle. But don't you think we should show it to Glimmerdark? I mean, Glitterdark. Oh, there's so much glimmering. I can't tell who's who. Well, Mr. Glitterdark might know what it does more than us. It's really fancy. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Is this Mr. Dark a friend of yours?
Yes, he's actually the person we're charged to find. We're on multiple quests simultaneously. We're adventuring for gold.
Things just keep cropping up. But
We're in business, and business is good.
Oh, so I'm just a happy accident then.
Oh yeah, we weren't looking for you, but you're more than welcome to accompany us if you'd like.
I would like to. I would like to get my bearings on like I had been trapped.
Yes, I think Lord Glitterdark would be a good person for you to talk to. He's a very learned man.
Plus, did you know the Summer Court? Were you in their court?
Oh yes, I served the count as the protector of the vault of the count's wondrous items.
Oh, do you think those might still be intact?
It's possible. Like I don't know if maybe water damage got in. Like we're in a magic castle, but could be.
Perhaps you should direct us to where the vaults are.
Yes.
I see.
Well,
I'm sure we could find things that could help the Summer Court retake this castle.
we might need to liberate some important items for professional use only.
Yeah, I agree with Callie.
I see. Well, let us meet your friend Mr. Dark first, and see what he has to say about this artifact that you think could help us.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, this could be increasingly urgent if there's some kind of like crazy monster in the lake, which is news to me. But yeah, I'm gonna start to drag this like floating. It takes almost all my force. I have to push it in front of me to get it to drag because it's like much larger than me.
Exactly. When you first found it, it was floating at the top of the ceiling. And I want to take this moment to say hi to Tommy, who's watching us right now on Twitch. Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining
Hey,
us.
Tommy.
And it was floating at the top of the ceiling. You were able to lasso it with your rope and pull it down. And once you did that, in the chaos of the combat, you realized that you're pulling it down after the combat, but in the chaos, you didn't realize that the energy that was in it seemed to be darkening. So that by the time it's sort of now landed and you've been checking it out, the energy that it was once broiling and boiling within it has dimmed. So that's why the statue looks so golden and opaque at this moment. It's not glowing anymore. That being the case, it's not actually floating anymore either. You get the sense, Callie, that that the necromancer dying had something to do with this piece, the statue's change. Additionally, all of you start to sort of think about for a second, what was the necromancer even doing with this thing? What were they using it for? What was their connection, or what was going on with that? So that's also sort of a mystery, as it were.
I want to investigate the room, like his workspace over there. What he was doing.
Sure. Yeah. The workspace is mostly, in fact, entirely him putting monstrosities together. It looks like he was trying to use different bodies of trout folk to make sort of like flesh golems, though none of them were complete or sort of ready. You also did notice that there was some sort of summoning circle in this chamber as well, though it's sort of beyond all of your understanding. It does not look like a teleportation circle. It looks like a summoning circle. You get the sense that that's probably where the beholder came from that you fought, the undead beholder in the floor below this. Additionally, you guys found all the treasure hoard. There are also two different watery exits that lead from this chamber that lead out into the waters of Glimmer Lake itself. But remember, they were magically trapped, you were told by the trout folk, so that if you tried to enter them, you would immediately die. or at least that's what happened to them when they entered. Additionally, you guys, yeah, that was basically about everything you're able to find. There were skeletons that you destroyed. I believe that's it. The workbenches, sort of, yeah, that was basically it.
Hmm. Well, that guy
What are
was.
you looking for in particular, Preturo? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Are you looking for something in particular, Preturo?
No, I just wanted to get my bearings on like
Got
what's
it.
happening, what's in the room, like that sort of thing.
Sorry, go ahead, Callie.
Oh, I was just gonna comment that it looks like this necromancer was plotting some kind of weird attack. I mean, if he's making a bunch of like soldiery golems, he's probably just waiting before he could come attack all the trout folk. That's what I
Yeah, I
think.
remember the trout folk saying that they've been fighting him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now would be a great time for everyone to make an investigations check.
Ooh.
I am great at those.
I critted it!
Crit City. What'd you get?
I got a 3.
A 3. You got a 3. I got a 3. How about for you,
21.
Preturo?
21.
Nice roll. So, Alaron, you're not really sure what's going on here. You think that you might be able to rig together some sort of like a travois, that you could, out of the bones that you could put underneath this thing to like try and hoist it up maybe. And if someone else was strong enough, you two could hold it almost like on poles and maybe carry it down. You're not really sure what the necromancer was doing with this statue. Probably just more treasure that they had. This is the most glittery tower in the place. It's pretty glittery here. Lots of glitter. But you're obviously a scholar. You're not a dummy. So you get the sense that they were using the statue for some purpose, perhaps even if only something to sort of entice the trout folk to continue to attack them and thus provide more bodies, more fodder. Callie, I'll get to you in a second. Preturo, you know that the ability to power summoning circles, it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And if this creature, this necromancer, you haven't found any sort of like magical tomes, basically. So they weren't a wizard per se. They must have been gaining their power in some other way. You're getting the sense that this item may have, in fact, been that they've been able to somehow glean energy from the statue somehow, and that somehow they're able to rev it up and have it create energy and then to siphon some of that out. Callie, you're understanding that as well, but you're able to take it a step further and realize that not only were they able to cast magic with that, they've probably been able to animate all of the creatures that they've found, that they've been able to vastly multiply their own power to create things and do things that they might normally not have been able to do. Especially since the necromancer was not an undead creature themselves. They were a live creature. They were a live harpy, obviously misshapen and twisted over the years, but they were still alive. And so in their death, this statue definitely began to darken, basically sort of solid and opaque. You get the sense, Callie, to restart this thing, and who knows what you could do with it at that point. Like push it around really easily.
If only I was strong enough. I know. But I feel like, and I relate this to everybody, my
Cool.
incredibly nice insights for once. But I mean, I don't know. It sounds like this necromancer started to get kind of crazy with it. Like, obviously, he wasn't doing so well. So,
sadly, that is true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
He did summon Beholder, though.
The Beholder? Yeah.
He did summon Beholder. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, it was a terrible, awful monstrosity, but
Nearly killed us.
Man. Well.
And yet he couldn't get me out of the crystal.
Maybe he wasn't trying. But then again, our friend Ilio, his pendant, it was glowing as if it resonated with you. I think it's had something to do with him being a member of the Summer Court as well. But I can't be sure.
Yeah.
That seems like it might be the case.
Well,
in this new age, I should be so lucky.
Wait till you see what the place looks like now. I guess we should drag this thing. We should get this thing out of here and.
Yeah, I'll help.
Callie, you think that with your amazing crit of your investigation check, that you have the magical abilities to reactivate these runes.
Ooh.
You think that anyone with magical abilities might have a chance of being able to interact with this item. It is an artifact. So it is possible for you, for perhaps even Praeturo, to do something with this. Who knows? Maybe even Alaron can. You don't know the breadth and depth of this artifact.
I'm going to think to myself, this seems exceedingly dangerous. And I'm going to grab it.
Awesome. So basically what you're doing is you're looking at the runes and sort of trying to activate them.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to do that is sort of to speak them or touch them, as the case may be, which is sort of what you're doing. I need you to make an Arcana check for me, please. Or you can make a religion check. It's up to you.
Well, I think I'm about the same in both, so I'll go with Lucky Arcana.
Cool. Go for it.
7.
Mighty 7. Awesome. You realize that you can't activate this thing because the runes are stopping you.
So hard.
But you think that if you could remove the runes somehow, that would allow you to much more easily access this thing.
I'm going to point that out to Praeturo.
Yeah, what are you guys doing? What's Alaron doing right now?
Well, now that Callie's pointed out, I start inspecting the runes. How are they carved? Are they markings?
They are carved, and it's interesting, Alaron. As you're looking at it, you're getting the sense that these runes were carved after this thing was made, because you're getting the sense that the runes, now that you're looking at them, almost look like bindings that are around the creature in certain ways. They're not exactly tracing like the line of its form. It's almost like they're cutting around different parts of it, almost like it's encircled by these runes.
So, Praeturo, may I ask, how can we disable these runes?
You want to disable the runes? Like, if this thing has like that dreaded like primordial being's like power within it, you don't want it like unleashed, like Sir Alaron.
We don't want to let it all out, but perhaps if we can just get it to resonate somehow, if we can get the energies rekindled.
Well, in that case, like magic circles like these and bindings usually are very precise for a reason. Any imperfection or damage will cause them to like usually fail, at least in my experience. Can I make a knowledge arcana check to make sure that that's correct?
No need to ask me. You definitely get the sense that you're right, but in addition, Praeturo, you believe that those with the utmost dexterity can scratch out runes. They can basically disable runes. There are also different ways, magical abilities or magical spells that allow you to suppress runes or disable runes. If you know the command word or the keyword to the runes, you can disable them, like a password. Those are some people take a more sort of brute force. You can try and like use a chisel or something like that. But that is exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about doing something dangerous. Trying to take a chisel to a magical item that has runes on it, there's a very good likelihood that it will blow up in your face.
Okay, so either we like if we want to do this, we either need to like find like have someone with very delicate hands to chisel out an imperfection, either someone with incredible strength to just demolish at least one part of the seal, like with brute force, or with like an arcane like insight would be able to awaken the power within.
Would you? I mean, both Callie and I are pretty deft, but do you want to try dissolving the runes through magical means before we try that?
I could cast it. I could. My expertise was more conjuration, so I'm not exactly specialized in like wards and stuff like that. Possibly an identify spell could help, but I don't know if like I don't have like that surge I got back from my tome. It's not a lot of energy, and I think I better conserve some of that.
Callie, me or you? Rock paper scissors.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, and I win.
Dang it.
I'm gonna Rimpy.
Rimpy's like he won. He won.
All right. I'm going to try to definitely remove some of the etching.
What kind of tools are you using for this job?
Oh, that's so. Let's see what I have.
Want to use my thieves tools?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
No worries. I get them out.
What do these look like, Callie? Please describe for us what's happening right now.
So I have a little rolled up leather pouch, and when I unroll it, it's actually very long. And there's an incredible array of like bobby pins, bent bobby pins, wire, snaggly wire, rusty wire, some like, strange files, things like that. And I'm gonna select a very thin, sharp piece of wire and a tiny, tiny hammer and hand it over.
Interesting.
They work pretty good.
Yeah,
Alron, you take the tools. Are you proficient in these thieves' tools?
I am not.
Very good. Good to know. This will be a thieves' tools check. So you'll be rolling a d20. You're not proficient, so you won't add your proficiency. But what you will do is add your dexterity modifier, because this is a dexterity check with your thieves' tools.
Sweet.
Go ahead and roll, please.
All right. Don't fail me now, Lady Luck. Oh, she failed me. That's a 7.
A 7. Okay, very nice. All right.
I step back.
Yes, you did. You said that. You said you would step back. Alaron leans in to start a tapping. Alaron, I need you to please make a charisma saving throw.
That's a 17.
Nice. Yeah, your cloak of protection, it seems to whirl around you as you tap on the rune, and it is split. Energy seems to seep out almost like a geyser, like a steam geyser, almost like it's a pipe or something like that, and it's just exploding in your face. But you're able to throw your cloak over yourself, and the geyser is not warm. It is warm, but not scalding warm. Instead, it's almost like there's some sort of mist that is sort of trying to envelop you, but you're able to sort of keep it away from your form and your face. What are you doing, Callie?
I'm like,
I think you should try it.
I'm pretty good at it, so I'll kind of like come over there and maybe take back my little delicate tools.
Yeah, we give them back.
Take aim myself. I've busted a few locks open this way.
And Rimpy's all like, look at this. It's all like up on two hind legs and like just doing like a double point, like, oh. Go ahead and make your roll. Indeed.
So, okay, so I'm proficient in these, so I'm going to add 8 to this roll.
You add 8 to your roll.
Boom! That gives me a big old 10 Totally.
Oh,
Awesome. That's great. So you go. So the rune that you're tapping is near the one Alaron did, or somewhere different than where Alaron did.
I probably would do a different one.
Yeah. So you're sort of like in a different place on the statue, basically, where you're sort of tapping on it. And as you're tapping on it, you definitely feel like that you have etched it out, and it is sort of this energy is spreading from the rune. It's as you're tapping on it, it's almost like the energy is spreading along the other runes and they're beginning to glow. And the statue does, in fact, rise at this point.
I'm like, woo!
not bad. Not
Grimby's
bad.
all "Burr, burr, 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 burr," like does a flip.
I'm
From
like,
behind,
hoping-
from behind like a pile of like garbage or something. I'm like, I had complete faith in you.
In my head, I'm like, that was so close.
Good job, Kelly. I am surprised. I am impressed. Not surprised.
Thanks. Yeah, practiced. But
You good.
who wants
So shall
to
we take
help?
this to your Mr. Dark friend, or
Yeah.
Glitter Dark. Yes.
We should. We should start dragging this thing before it stops floating again.
Cool.
Agreed.
And you do. You begin to push it and drag it. It is floating. You're maneuvering it down sort of the stone stairs. They're spiral stairs. You go down to the second floor of the tower that you're on. This is a room that has a big undead beholder in it that's been smushed and flattened and stabbed. And its ichor is everywhere. It stinks in here. This is where trout folk have been fighting undead for who knows how long, decades probably at this point. However, moving past that, you realize, Praeturo, where you are. You realize now that you are in what once was the host tower of Id Othrodmel. This is a place where guests would come to retire once the revels became too much of a draw on their energy. Also, I think we lost your video feed too, Praeturo, just letting you know. At any rate, you guys continue onwards, and you definitely are able to get out of the glimmering tower and back to the castle grounds. The castle courtyard that you're in, you can basically see off to your left is the long sort of hallway. Remember that we're in an underwater castle that has a dome over it. You are breathing water, and you're not breathing water. You're breathing air, but you're surrounded by water. And there's a lattice dome that's over you. Most of everything, though, outside of the castle is covered in muck and in seaweed. So none of the glimmering sort of sun from up above really makes its way down here, except for the tower that you were just in, which is not covered with any seaweed or muck or anything like that. It does glimmer in the sun. Thus, you refer to it as the glowing tower or the Fey Tower. The other towers, as you're looking around, one of them is ruined. That's off and up to your right. The thick sort of edifice of the barracks tower is also sort of up on your left. But straight ahead is where you know Glitter Dark to be in the former Trout Queen's Tower. Also, I think we may have lost Brian, unfortunately, so maybe we'll get him back. And at any rate, you guys are able to definitely push the
Hey, sorry about that. I got this. My internet like went down for a sec.
That's okay. We're still playing, so just listen up, and we'll get you back. But thanks for letting us know.
Okay.
We are pushing the statue through the courtyard. You're seeing sort of the dome above you of the castle that's sort of protecting you at this point from the water that's outside. It's covered in muck and in seaweed or lakeweed. There are no trout folk that you really see around, though you know that they're in a tower off to your left that is sort of the priest's tower. There's the barracks tower, where they once were. The Queen's Tower is straight ahead. You know that Lord Sage Glitterdark is at the top of the Trout Queen's Tower, or the former Trout Queen's Tower, where the arcane, the Eldritch machinery is located. And so you guys are able to go into the Queen's Tower and see the ruins of her courtroom, her throne room, where the sort of civil battle between her forces happened. And you guys are able to push the statue up the stairs through her personal chambers, which have sort of been torn apart by trout folk, and finally up to the top of the tower, where only Lord Glitterdark now resides. He seems to be tinkering with the Eldritch machinery. He's actually seems to be using some sort of frost ray spell that he's sort of using to sort of seal some parts of the machinery. And as you come around, he's sort of saying magical words in his deep dwarven voice. If you'll remember Lord Sage Glitterdark, he has a silvery gray beard. He's wearing studded leather scholar's robes with a popped collar. He also has a lot of large jewelry and rings on his thick fingers, and he has necklaces on of gold, braided gold. As he sees you come in, he seems elated. Oh, you've returned. Very good. And what's this?
Oh, we found it.
You found it. I bet you did.
It glows.
Indeed. Exactly what we're looking for, I hope. Where's Ziganut? And your glowing friend? He didn't die, did he?
No. He found some armor that happened to be cursed, and he wanted to see if he could get someone to help him get it off.
You cursed armor. Nasty thing.
Mm-hmm. He had some bad luck with armor altogether.
He lost his armor, yeah.
Well, such are the dangers of being a adventurer, I guess. Or at least one who is trying to rule a castle.
He has lots of butter. So, what can we do to help you get this castle floating?
Well, let me see what we've got here. Oh, who's your friend?
Oh, yeah, we found him in the undead tower. Would you like to?
Yes. Hello, sir. It is very nice to meet you.
And you, my friend. Everyone can make an insight check, please.
9.
19.
I got a 10.
9, 10, and 19, not bad. Callie and Preturo, you two get the sense that Lord Sage Glitterdark is very interested in the statue, and that his eyes are sort of alighting on it. Alaron, you get the sense that the Lord Sage is not as focused on the statue as he may be showing. His eyes, imperceptibly to maybe some others, but not you, flit to Preturo's form and sort of are checking him out a little bit, surreptitiously, of course. But you get the sense that he is more interested in Preturo maybe than he is letting on. He is going on, though, as he's looking at it. And he sort of takes out a little jeweler's loop and is like looking at the runes very closely, magnifying them. His jeweler's loop seems to be very well crafted. It seems to be what looks like a sort of I guess what would be a dwarf's face with a beard even around it, and its mouth is open, and that's where the loop is, the sort of the magnifying loop. So he holds up this dwarf face to his eye, which looks sort of weird and miniature, and sort of puts it down.
What have you been touching?
He
That's all I did. I didn't touch any.
Hey, Brian, you might want to mute yourself, bud. We can definitely hear you. And so as he's looking at it, he sort of looks back up at you guys and says, well, we'll have to unlock the power somehow. It's deep in there.
Hmm.
Well, Callie.
I was kind of tinkering with it, and you see all these like jagged scratches all over it. That was me, and it actually started floating after I did that. So that I feel like if we keep doing something like messing with these blocking ruins, maybe we can get it working a little bit. But there was a necromancer that he wasn't even dead, but he was using it to like fuel magic, and I don't really know how he was doing it, but it was like really strong.
Such things are not uncommon amongst those who seek power. True power. This energy is chained. It must be unlocked. There may be an incantation, but these runes, they may not be what is completely wrong, but best to take them off anyway. Perhaps you could try again, and I will try too. And he takes out some of his own sort of tools. He seems to have them secreted inside sort of the inner pocket. And he brings out what looks to be some sort of amethyst sort of chisel. And yes, indeed, a very finely wrought, what looks to be silver tiny hammer. And he sort of nods at you. Alaron, what are you doing at this point?
I think I'm going to leave this to the professionals here. I've already found that I'm not as deft as I think, and I don't know how to use Steve's tools that well.
Cool. Yeah, you sort of step back and take a watch. Praeturo, is there anything you're doing?
I'm going to like watch this at this point because I want to see what happens. Like this guy's expertise.
Very good. Cool. So Callie, if you could please make a Thieves Tools check.
18.
Nice roll. Awesome. You get the sense, Praeturo, Alaron, that Callie maybe was just a little nervous before. She seems to have a much practiced hand at this sort of thing. And it's almost like just going down the line, sort of like knocking these runes out. Lord Sage Glitterdark is much slower in his work, though he is very precise. And so he seems to, instead of doing a number of runes in a row, seems to be knocking one out and then sort of looking around and then knocking another one out, almost like these sort of pin runes, if you will, or runes that are holding these chains together. And with the two of them working, they are able to remove the chains. It's incredible as the final rune is sort of struck. They all sort of peel off in this sort of magical, almost like ash. They start to burn off from the different places where they're surrounding the statue. The statue glows more powerfully than you've seen it before. It's almost not blinding, but it's very bright. And you all sort of look away for a second. It does continue to float, and it floats even a little bit higher. Glitterdark says, as I feared, the power, the true power, we could install it in the machine now, but I do not believe it'll get us above the water. It may rise us a bit. This artifact must be unlocked by an incantation that must be known by the one who created it. Go ahead.
I look over at our bald elf friend. Do you, in your time at the castle before it was submerged, do you know who would have recorded such information?
When Alaron says your time, you all see Glitterdark's eyebrow go up, like when he says your time. And also, Praeturo, could you please make a religion check?
Okay. Let me just roll that right now. Ooh, that is a 5.
Nice. You don't know who made this statue, but you do know that ancient idols of Klaugi Schildkröte were. You get the sense that something of this power that only the creature itself could have probably built this or created it.
It probably came from that primordial being itself.
Hmm.
Oh, he sounds like a big deal, though. I mean, we can't just like ask him, can we?
Glitter Dark sort of shrugs and says, "Well, why not?
Do you know where this?
You could seek him out. There, I know of a site nearby, outside the castle. It is where the ancient priests worshipped the creature, near the rift where it is said to dwell, at the true bottom of the lake.
Oh.
If you travel to this place with the artifact, hey,
Hello. Sorry.
hello, no problem. You may be able to deal with the creature.
Hmm.
Perhaps
A bargain could be struck.
we should speak with this creature. Although, if he's a dragon, and for what I know, dragons true, they have hordes, and they usually will want some sort of compensation for their help.
Hmm.
Well, all I can say is, should you do this, I will be your advocate for your mine. There's much else going on in the Valley of Hammerfast that you may be able to help me with as well. We could have a very successful partnership, but I don't know if you're up to it.
All it takes is us to talk to a dragon, then let's talk to the dragon. How do we get to it? Do you know of any way of giving us the ability to breathe?
Ah,
You did just get potions of water breathing.
you have potions. I gave my last potions to those who came down with me.
Hmm.
I can direct you to where it is, that's for sure.
Man, our potions don't last that long. Maybe. Well, we better be fast if we go.
It is nearby. And here's one thing you can at least perhaps offer the dragon. The castle will leave its domain.
That was always
True.
Yeah.
Beasts such as this are always very territorial.
Yes.
It's a miracle he hasn't destroyed it if it's been this long down here.
Comforting.
I myself wondered why the castle still existed, honestly. I had hoped to come here to make a pact with the Trout Queen, for there is much danger in the north. Cold winds rise.
Well, I guess I'd like to talk to this dragon, and maybe we can take care of things and get out of here so we can actually go help above water for once.
I agree.
It would be good to see the world outside of this castle. I grow rather disheartened by how dilapidated it has become since its grand days.
You were an original inhabitant here, weren't you?
I give a bow and say, I am Preacher of House Tevawen. I was the vault keeper of the Grand Count of the Summer Court in my time.
Tevawen. I have heard of the name.
My family continues.
Well, I am the Lord Sage of Hammerfast, Glitterdark. Praetoro, you definitely know Hammerfast, but in your time, Hammerfast was a necropolis for dwarves, where the dead would be buried. People didn't really live there per se, though there may have been scholars living there. I
You
like
were,
this.
you were from the city of past dwarves.
Much has changed in your arrest, Praetoro. But your family, Tavawin, I have heard of them, yes. It is said there was a knight who carried that name.
A
But
knight.
he has not been heard from in many decades.
I grabbed this little guy's shoulder. Pray tell, what was his name?
And he sort of was like, ugh. And he says, he went by Baldir Tavawin.
I take a step back and just like stare off. He took my name.
Alaron, Callie, why don't you two go ahead and make history checks for me, please?
History.
6.
12.
Nice. Alaron, you have advantage on this throw. Could you throw again?
16.
Nice. The reason you have advantage is because this name is sticking in your craw for some reason. Baldir. You're like, Baldir, where have I heard that name before? I've heard that name before. And sticking in your craw, and you're like, oh, I remember where I've heard that name before. Callie, you remember as well. You heard the name Baldir in relation to a white mare that you once saved. Baldir was the name of the person who left her behind.
Oh no.
I see.
Well.
I mentioned that I know the name as well.
You do.
Yes, we freed and accompanied a magical horse that, well, maybe not magical, but intelligent horse that reacted to that name. The horse waits for its master.
He finally got his nightly steed. I see. Oh my.
What do you know of this man?
He was the I kind of like rubbed the back of my head a little embarrassed. And I'm bald, so you can see I'm kind of flushing pretty badly here. He and I were involved back in the days of the summer court. We were just beginning a unique relationship.
Oh, do you know where he? Well, I mean, we must have found his horse then. It has to be the same person.
When I knew him, he was merely like one of the cellar keepers of this grand castle. He always did talk about wanting to be a knight for the courts with the glorious steed.
Well, that's a good horse. I mean,
yeah, it's a really nice horse. I mean, really, really nice horse.
Maybe we'll find him. I mean, he could be alive if his horse is still waiting for him. That would be good news.
Possibly.
You can come with us and we can look.
Yeah.
One thing at a time. This thing is literally leaking magic everywhere. I don't want to deal with it if we inhale too much of it. I do appreciate your kindness here, but I need to process this.
And Glitterdark nods as well and sort of takes a step back from where you've been grabbing him on the shoulders and says, well, leave the idol here. Learn the incantation from Plaugi Schildkröte. Yes, its name is known to me, the Ancient One. Long have I wished to ally with it, but it is an ancient being. It works its own ends. It is possible you will be able to deal with it by trading. I do not know. Convince it somehow to give you the incantation. If you are able to get it, we will be able to ascend back to the above ground world.
Rimpy likes
Then
a
let
good
us be on our way then.
Direct us
Awesome.
where we can find him.
Yeah, totally. You guys are basically leave, and you are making your way to the tower that you first entered into. The one that it has a magical energy field that basically cuts a room in half. Half of it is submerged, the other half is not. And you return to that place, drink your potions of water breathing, and go into the water. You are swimming out of the tower, and you know that the site that you're heading to is nearby. It will be known to you because there are large stone pillars made out of basalt that are sort of standing around this rock that is almost like a plateau that's sort of jutting out of the ground. All of this is right on the precipice of a just ginormous rift, a cleft in the bottom of the lake. It is apparently high noon above you, and the light is great, giving you a dim vision down here, those of you who can't see in the dark normally. Rimpy is also with you. When Callie drank the potion, when you all drank the potion, a sort of a invisible sort of a bubble has come around your head. Similarly with Rimpy, from around his neck, a sort of invisible bubble has come around. And so the four of you are swimming, making your way. You can also talk with each other still. The water breathing seems to have sort of allowed you to keep the water away from you for the most part. And so while your bodies are sort of getting wet, your heads and your necks are staying dry. You are able to swim towards the site. What is your general party order? Like, what sort of arrangement are you in?
I'll take the lead. And Ken, I want to make a point. You got feedback on your mic.
Oh, thank you.
A little bit.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Thank you.
Oh, you sound okay now.
Okay.
You sound okay now. I think you just need like a little tap or something.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. So, yeah, thanks for letting me know. Sorry about that, everybody.
Oop,
So you guys are
It's still there, yeah.
okay.
Sounds like a loose connection.
Oh no, that's weird. Maybe it's time to get new headphones, everybody. So we'll see. Well, we'll try and bear with it. Sorry, everybody. I'll try and keep it going. But if not, I might be able to change. But we'll be all right. Is it terrible? Terrible?
It's okay right now, actually. It's better.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and not yell. And so you guys can see that the lake around you is a beautiful scene. The light from above is shining down, and just the environment, you can see now the castle from afar, and the muck that's all over it. From the distance you're at, that doesn't matter. You're able to see all the towers, see how it maybe have once been, with just the beautiful dome and the very thin towers now that you're further away, and realize just how thin these towers actually are. And just sort of the long sort of stretch of the gate hall that sort of leads to that sort of front gate tower. And as you look at that, you realize that was where people once entered Sparkly Town Delight Castle. That's where they entered Id Othwamel for the fun times. And it must have been a joyous place at one point, with banners unfurled and colorful flowers everywhere. But now it's sort of crusted with muck and seaweed. Though the sun still shines brightly on the Fey Tower that glimmers, though you know within it was rotten. You can see as you're going deeper that it is getting darker. And the darkness soon sort of swallows up even the light that's glimmering from above. Callie, you are effectively blind at this point, unless you have some sort of light source. I believe you have a magical light source. Am I wrong?
Well, I've usually been using prestidigitation to conjure a small flame, but I can't really do that underwater.
No, you can't unless you conjure it on your nose, which is exactly what you do. So you have you have a little flame that's on your nose. It's basically lighting just a very little bit around you. So you can only see maybe about 5 feet or so in front of you, even just silhouettes. So who are you sticking next to, Alaron or Praeturo?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty used to sort of like being in Aileron's shadow.
Very true. So you're with Alaron. You guys are sort of swimming down. It's getting darker, but looming out of the darkness, looking almost like worms, are these basalt sort of columns. They're natural formations, and but as you're sort of going by one with your dark vision, Alaron Praeturno, you can see that they've been carved for sure. And the carvings they look almost like what the inside of like an alien ship looks like from the Alien movies. Like they're just sort of like very sinuous and pockmarked, but ridges and they're just very twisted. And as you guys are going down, you definitely are able to see sort of the darker stone of the plateau, as it were. And I need everyone to make a perception check for me, please.
24.
Nice.
15.
Also 15.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. You guys can all see that as you're getting further in this darkness, the rift it's in the deepest darkness, but you can see the edge now, basically, where the precipice is. You also see it looks as if something is shuffling its way out from the muck that is next to one of the basalt columns. It seems to be a very large form. It has 2 claws that are rising out of the muck. It's rising its huge, broad back out, and sort of little legs are coming out. As you realize, as it moves its way backwards onto the basalt platform, there is some sort of giant crab that has interposed itself between you and the basalt plateau. What's weird about this crab, and it's more difficult for you to see this, Callie, the others can see this a little bit more clearly. Alaron Praeturo, with your dark vision, even with sort of the silt that's being thrown up in all your faces or up into the water, as it were, you can see that this crab, even though it's so huge, it is like, that's the best way I can put this. It's like a turkey that's been wrapped in string and is bulging out of that string. This crab has been wrapped in what looks to be lakeweed, and it somehow was cured or something, or magically reinforced, or who knows what, but it is wrapped in this lakeweed all around its body, even its arms and its claws, and it's just bulging at this lakeweed. If this weeds were to be cut, like stuff would just like spilling out of it, almost like it's too soaked in water and it's like bulging out of its constraints. It's a very bulbous sort of crab that is sort of moving. The thing though that gives you pause is you sort of can see that its eye stalks, as the silt gets out of them, they are glowing with a malevolent reddish cast. And I need Alaron and Praeturno to please make wisdom saving throws for me, please.
Would I have advantage on this?
Because it's enchantment? No, it is not an enchantment spell.
Okay.
Great question, though. With your Fey ancestry.
18.
Great roll for Praeturno.
11.
11. Nice. 11. Do you want that to be a success or not? You know our house rule here on the Secrets of Hammerfast stream. If you roll an 11, you can choose to succeed on the roll, but you will automatically be at disadvantage for your next roll.
I'm gonna take it. This is my first
You
chance.
choose to succeed. Very good. You do succeed, which means that neither of you are caught in this dreadful gaze as you realize this creature is more than just odd and weird looking. It has a malevolence towards you, that it wants both of you dead, and not only that it hates you, that you see the malevolence of undead looking back at you. You think that this creature is definitely here to keep you from setting foot on the basalt plateau, as it were. And we should all roll initiative at this point. Alaron, you're at disadvantage to this roll.
Ooh. 24.
Nice.
11.
11? You can't 11 this one. Sorry, Alaron.
Have you succeeded?
Exactly. Have you succeeded? You already did. And how about for Praetorno?
15.
Nice roll. Cool. Callie, both of your friends sort of stiffen for a second. But other than that, do you guys react in any other way?
I get into a defensive stance and I whip out my rapier.
Awesome.
I draw my sword and electricity crackles from my fingers.
We all die.
Yeah, right.
Ah.
Yeah. In the water, you can see that your electricity is definitely sort of a lot more powerful than it might normally be. It almost surprises you how powerful it is. Callie, you do have initiative. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna take out my dagger. Can I see this creature or no?
With it's difficult for you to see it. You're not sure how far it is away. You can't even see the black basalt sort of bottom. You can only see about 5 feet in front of you at this point. Alaron's body you see in front of you, it sort of stiffened and then got ready into a readied stance.
Well, I'm gonna take my action to place Rimpy inside a very deep pocket in my cloak, which is actually his miniature pocket realm.
Got it.
And I'm gonna hold my dagger ready, but I can't do anything else. So.
Okay, cool. You put Rimpy away and you hold your dagger ready. You could hide behind Alaron if that's something you'd like to do.
Oh, okay. I could use my cunning action if that's cool. I'll do that.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. What'd you get?
I got a 17.
Nice roll. Awesome. You're effectively sort of swimming behind Alaron. Alaron, Praeturo, you see the crab Superman jump up basically towards you guys, and it's just streaking towards you. Alaron, it is streaking towards you, as a matter of fact. And it basically is able to swim itself as it sort of Superman jumps and then sort of uses its claws to keep going right up on you as it sort of is in your sort of space or nearby you. And it's crazy to you how fast this thing is moving as one of its huge claws sort of lashes out towards you. It will miss you, but its second claw also lashes out as it rolls a 20, my friend, on the die, unfortunately. The claw smashes. Oh, thanks for that. The claw smashes into you, and you take 10 bludgeoning damage and 10 necrotic damage as well. As it basically grasps onto one of your arms and crunches down, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw, please. The coldness that is...
20 on the die.
Oh, what is happening? You get the sense that this creature is undead and it's trying to suck your life out of you. But is unable to as you yank your arm back. It does. Your arm skin is like ripped off, and there's a little bit of blood and skin that's left off in the water. But it is next to you, and it seems as if it is a powerful undead creature that is menacing you and your party. It is your turn.
Well, that's
Praeturo.
Okay. All right. So, in reaction to this, I'm gonna try to back up like a little further away from it.
Cool. Make an athletics check as you're sort of swimming away as sort of quickly as possible.
Okay, I am not good at these.
Yeah.
19.
Hey, look at you.
Right.
Yeah, you can move your full
19
speed
on the
wherever you
die.
want. Yeah,
Okay.
that's great.
All right. Since I see electricity is not going to be too helpful here, I instead am going to use a cloud of daggers as a 3rd level spell.
Nice. What is your saving throw?
Let's see. Cloud of daggers is a... Wait, you mean the number?
Yes.
14.
14 does is a failure. Can you describe what your magic looks like as you're casting Cloud of Daggers?
All right. I clap my hands together and release a flurry of like a beautiful white feathers that fly through the water and circle around this creature, cutting into it.
Very anime. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the creature is starting to get cut up. Especially, it's like seaweed wrappings. So you guys are starting to see almost like dusty, ooky guts starting to come out of it. Do you want to roll damage now, Brian?
Yes, I will. And because I did it as a 3rd level spell, it is increased by an extra 2d4.
Nice.
So I have to roll 64s.
64 damage. Very nice. Rolling. Keep those doggies rolling.
12 and 15.
Nice rolls. Awesome. Aileron, it is your turn as the white feathers are just shredding this creature or beginning to shred it.
Okay, I'm going to look for the areas being shredded, and I'm going to concentrate on those with my rapier.
Awesome. Make your attacks, please.
It's a 21, and so close, and a 24.
Those are both hits. This creature is so big and it's so bulky and slow. You're not having any problem hitting it. The problem is that it's so squishy. You don't know if you're penetrating deep enough into it. How much damage are you doing?
18 piercing damage.
That's really good. But you get the sense that your weapon is not able to pierce as deep as you might be normally able to do. And you get the sense that you're doing half damage. If this creature is resistant to your normal weapon.
I also like to mention I'm bloodied, so I'm bleeding in this water.
Ooh, Callie-san, it is your turn. The creature has definitely not spied you.
And
but it's right up on Aileron.
So I'm going to sort of kick out around Aileron and try to stab up into its belly.
Yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
Am I attacking like from stealth? Do I have advantage on this?
You technically do. You have been stealth. You were hidden. You have advantage.
So I got a 19.
That's a success. How much damage do you? Don't forget to do sneak attack.
So that's 7, 9. That's gonna be 15 piercing, but it's magical. I don't know if that matters.
Indeed, it does. This creature seems to jerk upwards as you just pierce it. It's so gross, though. Your arms just keep going and going and going. You're like up to your elbows, up to your like triceps in this thing. It's just so squishy and nasty. And as you plunge into it, it jerks up. You jerk backwards, and it's just like an avalanche, just a waterfall of gunk and gushy black ooze and dust is just sort of like muck is coming out of it. And it's like in your face. It's getting all over you. You're swimming away as fast as possible, but it's sort of jerking itself around and trying to get away from you. And all this sort of nasty soot and muck is just swirling all around it. And it seems to be enshrouding itself in a cloud as it becomes bloodied, giving itself a little bit of cover as it seems a little bit more difficult to see it. And Callie, you are not able to see it anymore, unfortunately, as the gunk is too much around you. It is its turn, and it will sort of try to grab you, Callie. The first attack will be a 16, which is a miss. The second attack, however, will be a 7, which is also a miss. And it's all chunk, 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 chunk. Like you see these claws just appearing in your face out of the muck, and you're like trying to throw yourself, and by some miracle, you have been able to miss being hit. Turo, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to concentrate and keep the spell up.
Definitely. Go ahead and roll your damage, please.
Okay. I got out another D6, so like D4. So hopefully,
yeah, please. rolling.
Handfuls of dice.
Handfuls. So many hot dice.
Cauldron.
Praeturo's feathers. How much damage do they
12.
continue to do? 12, a mighty 12. Very nice. Indeed. The creature is squealing and its bindings are ripping loose. It's basically, you guys are getting the sense, and everyone should make a religion check at this point, please.
12.
12.
Also 12.
12.
14.
14. You all get the sense that this is indeed an undead creature. Not only that, it seems to be some sort of mummy crab, as its bindings are breaking loose. And it's sort of like it's disintegrating in front of you, but it's still mobile somehow. It's still able to move, and it's trying to grab onto you. Alaron, it's your turn.
I'm going to try and eviscerate this creature with my rapier.
Please do.
Does a 13 hit?
A 13 does hit. Yes.
Nice. Then I hit once. And I do 8 damage.
Please describe for us how you defeat this creature.
Oh man, I kick up onto one of its hook claws, swim up into the air, grab its eye stalk, and shove my blade down.
It does.
Ripping its eyes out.
Yeah, and you get right down as you do rip its eye stalk out. Your arm goes all the way in, and as you reach out, basically, they're just brain matter, like ooky green. It's neon green that is just sort of whipping out of this thing. It's a sort of a neon pea-ish green. And the creature just stops moving as it's just disintegrated, basically, and it's just sort of floating there. As you guys sink down to the something comes up from the rift that you didn't notice before. You see the creature as it emerges from the darkness, and truly, Klaugi Schildkröte has obviously been paying attention to your exploits. As you see the creature, its head snakes over the side of the precipice, and it grabs its arm sort of comes up as well. What are you guys all doing? It sort of seems like, yeah, it's sort of making a grab for you guys.
Gonna try to swim away.
Swim away. What are you doing, Alaron?
I call out his name.
Okay. And what are you doing, Praeturo?
I am misty stepping like 30 feet away. Phew.
Awesome. Very cool. Callie, can you please make a athletics check for me? Alaron, can you please make a persuasion check for me? And Praeturo, can you please make a arcana check for me?
With my modifier, I get a 1.
Nice.
I get a 6 on my persuasion.
Oh.
16 arcana.
Very nice. Awesome. So what happens is this. Praeturo, as you go to cast the spell, you just hear a rumble coming from Klaugi Schildkröte, and you realize your spell has been dispelled as its fin claw comes right at you and curls right around your form, and you lose consciousness. That is where we'll be ending tonight's session. Thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate it. This has been an awesome session. We hope to see all of you next week to find out what happens next here on Secrets of Hammerfast. We'll definitely be returning with our awesome players. I was your Dungeon Master for tonight, Ken Breeze. You can find me at burlingsbeard.com, my website. I'm a concierge GM in the New York City area. I also have some fun stuff on there, adventures for sale. And, you know, you can find all our videos, which are fun too. We had Kelsey playing Callie tonight. Kelsey, where can we find more of what you're up to?
You guys can find me on my website, thearcanelibrary.com. I just released a free adventure you can get by signing up for the website, and so scope that out if you want it.
Awesome. And we had Anthony back playing Alaron. Anthony, I love you. And where can we find more of your work if we want to catch up with you?
You can find me on Instagram at I'll Allow It.
Perfect. Awesome. And Brian, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to have you here. We will Miss you next week, but something tells me you're going to be back on the stream very soon.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. Where can we find more of what you're up to, my friend?
You can find more my tabletop Tumblr blog at Aboleth Eye. I do a lot of the tabletop gaming and the fantasy art and diversity and fantasy and all that cool stuff.
Awesome, and it's Aboleth Eye, like the creature, the aboleth.
Yep.
Love it. Awesome. Well, we'll catch up with all you guys next time. Thanks again for tuning in for Secrets of Hammerfast and some sweet D&D action. All right, you guys. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.